welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, October 14th, and I'm your host, Kristen McDonald. It is great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. This week on Norwood News, the police department receives grant funding for traffic safety. Kerry McCarthy has an update from the Senior Center, and the Norwood DPW is decorating for the fall. This past weekend, Norwood residents not only enjoyed beautiful fall weather, but lots of activities and events put together by Norwood Rec. NCM was at the Trunk or Treat and Pumpkin Float events and got to talk with Recreation Department members about the weekend.
Today is our 11th annual Trunk or Treat event that's part of our Fall Fest weekend. So today we have about 33 trunks, so that's our biggest so far. We have a lot of trunks, but we have a lot of our municipalities that come and support us. So it's great to see both our volunteers from our community, but also other departments from our town. I think it's just seeing the community come together. You'll see some people that are with families, and there's some people that come alone, but everybody can come and see it to come together. I also just love our volunteers. This would not be possible without them. They come, they decorate our trunks. Everyone says, hey, they look so good. That's not us. Unfortunately, that's our trunks putting in all the effort. So we really do. I appreciate all the people coming to be volunteers and putting this together, because without our trunks, there would be no event.
Good job over here. I think you did the best. You're going to get a tattoo on your sticky hand. You're going to get a tattoo. Way to go.
Hi there. I'm Marie Kidd.
I'm Kat Hare.
And we're with the Norwood Rec Department, and we're down here with our third annual pumpkin float at Hawes Ponds. This is a great way for the Rec Department to end our annual tradition of Fall Fest weekend. And we've got so much going on. We float lots of pumpkins. We've got Son of Sam's Pizza this year, a DJ. And the Boy Scouts have s'mores kits. So it's lots of fun, lots of family fun.
I'm really excited. This is my first pumpkin float, and we're just about to kick off here. It looks like in a couple of minutes it's getting darker, and really excited to have everyone out tonight. Thank you all for being here and joining us.
We had a full weekend full of block party, pickleball tournaments, and trunk or treat as well. And it's been a blast, and we hope to see you in future programs and events like this.
The Recreation Department also held its first annual pickleball tournament this past weekend. Recreation Program Coordinator Sam White explains more.
Hey Norwood, Sam White here, Program Coordinator at the Recreation Department. We're here today for our very first pickleball tournament on this beautiful Sunday. We're here with 7 teams so they can show off their talents and win a prize. And we hope to see you at the next one.
Pickleball coach Mike Regan explains some of the details on how the tournament worked.
So today is Norwood's first pickleball tournament. We're very excited. Some people are coming from out of town as well, so it's going to be a good group of people. Perfect weather. Look at this, it's gorgeous. So we're looking forward to a good day. This is the reason we're having this. I believe that it's going to help people get exposure for the sport, and it's going to help people to meet other people they haven't met yet. Unlike other tournaments, there's no set skill level designation. There's no men versus men, women versus women, or mixed doubles. It's going to be everybody has a partner and they just play. So we're going to decide who the teams are that will be facing each other at the beginning. Not sure how that's going to go, but we're here to have fun, and it's pickleball.
What a great way for the community to come together and have some fun at the same time. October brings another month of events at the Norwood Senior Center. Kerry McCarthy has all the details.
Hi everyone, Kerry McCarthy, the director of the Norwood Senior Center. I'm here today to give you an update of all the things happening at the Norwood Senior Center during the month of October. We are kicking off Halloween season on October 13th, Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Anthony Samarco will be here, and he is going to talk about his book, Halloween Traditions in Boston. The following day, Friday, October 14th, we are having a party in pink for a Zumba class. So we ask you to just wear your pink. All the donations will go to breast cancer research. Even if you do not want to dance in the Zumba class, you can just come in and support. We have invited other towns, so it should be a great event. On Monday, October 17th at 11 a.m., our town manager, Tony Mizuko, will be here to have coffee and chat with all of you. Bring your questions, concerns, and Tony will be here to answer them. Following that, on Friday, October 21st, we are having a historical portrayal, and it is called Dottie Tells All, The War of 1812. All this information is available in our newsletter. you can absolutely call for any information on the programs. And we are ending our month with celebrating fall, and we're going to have a sing-along here at the Senior Center with some fall refreshments. And that is going to be on Friday, October 28th at 1 p.m. I want to remind you that it's open enrollment season, so if you have not had an appointment for your open enrollment, it's kind of like a housekeeping check on your health insurance. Please call us and schedule an appointment. And I also want to invite you here to our fitness room. We've got 3 new machines that are available for you to use, as well as a pool table. So come on into the Senior Center. If you haven't been here yet, we welcome you, and we will see you soon. Thank you.
When Norwood News returns, we learn about the Police and Fire Open House and a traffic grant awarded to the Police Department.
Did you know Norwood Community Media has a weekly newsletter? If you are interested in signing up, all you have to do is go to our website, norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Once you're there, scroll to the bottom of the page and click on the Sign Up for Our Newsletter button. All you have to do after that is fill out your first and last name, your email, as well as your zip code. Once you press send at the end of each week, you will have our newsletter in your inbox, ready for you to catch up on all things Norwood.
A popular event every year, the Public Safety Building Open House was held last Saturday. Norwood residents were invited to tour the facilities and vehicles of the police and fire departments. One event that caught the attention of many children was the Jaws of Life demo performed by Norwood's firefighters. Within a matter of minutes, firefighters had the doors and roof removed on a small sedan. This demonstration simulates the process of what could happen in a car accident if occupants could not extricate themselves. Kids also got to take a seat in a real NPD cruiser and NFD fire engine. Fire Chief Dave Hayes highlights the day.
Yeah, once again, it's our annual fire prevention open house. We're trying to call people's attention to the things to do in a fire. We have some demos, some unique demos, introducing the people to our equipment, what we do, letting them ask questions about what we do, because many people think it's a mysterious job, and it's not. The slide poles are a big attraction. The people that get the ooh and the ah on the ladder. I don't know if you filmed the grease fire demo that we tried, but that's always a big one. And then this year we're adding a couple of fire rooms. We originally were going to attempt to find some old 60s furniture and then we created 2 rooms, one of old legacy furniture, one of newer furniture, and we were going to light them up and let the people see, number one, how fast the newer furniture burns in comparison to the legacy. I'm not sure we're going to get that clear comparison today because we just couldn't get that furniture that old.
After attending the open house, residents learned how the men and women of the police and fire departments are ready to roll for any emergency. And speaking of public safety, Chief Brooks is happy to announce the awarding of a traffic safety grant to the police department, which will help with traffic enforcement.
Hi, this is Chief Bill Brooks of the Norwood Police Department. I'm happy to announce that we were contacted by Representative John Rogers, who told us that we would be receiving a highway safety grant of over $34,000. He was careful to tell us that Senator Mike Rush and Congressman Steve Lynch were also instrumental in getting us that money. We'll be using that $34,000 over the course of the year to put extra patrols on the street. As you may or may not know, we focus on data-driven traffic enforcement. That is, that we are looking for the types of violations that cause crashes and looking to do enforcement in the areas where crashes occur, and then also focusing on areas where citizens have made complaints. So we'll be using that money for enforcement in those areas. We'll also be able to buy some equipment, particularly the speed signs that you see in some neighborhoods. The modern technology speed signs are such that we can actually mount them to not display a speed, but to grab data on passing cars, in other words, speed. And that gives us an idea of what's actually going on in that neighborhood. And then we can do some enforcement based on the data we receive. And then when we pull out, we can turn on the display to help tamp the speed down. We found that to be a very effective system of traffic enforcement. So we thank those 3 for working hard to get us that money, and we will spend it wisely.
Every year, the DPW takes pride in setting up fall decorations that you see at various locations throughout the town. General Foreman of Parks and Highways, Chris Cassavant, explains why these decorations are set up.
Well, I feel like it brings out a little bit of happiness for people going by, whether it's little kids or seniors or just the regular public. And also coming into town from residents from outside of the community coming into town, it kind of lightens things up, makes it just a little more happiness when you're driving down the road and seeing something. So down in South Norwood, down at Washington at Dean, we have a location. Then as you're coming up Washington Street, we have Bonded, Washington. We have a little park there. We have some decorations. We have Giles Square, little park across from Conrad's. Parks and Highway takes the lead on it. We have one individual, Chip Nickerson. He's very prideful in what he does with these decorations. You can see Chip out there all the time. Any decorations, always cleaning them up, just adding more pumpkins to it, adding more mums to it, whatever it needs. Sometimes just giving a little pumpkin to a little kid walking down the street. The guys out there, they're doing a great job. They do all take pride in everything. They see something, they'll stop, they'll clean it up. It's a very good group of guys that are working here. They take a lot of pride in what they do.
The DPW has a lot of responsibility in the operations in town. Setting up the fall decorations is just a small way they can help Norwood show off its small town charm. And now we're going to toss it over to Zaina Najjar with school news.
Hi guys, I'm Zaina Najjar, and let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. Norwood High School will be hosting a prospective student open house on Thursday, October 27 from 6 to 8 p.m. There will be student-led tours, a curriculum overview, demonstrations, and information about student activities. At the Coakley Middle School, Dr. Margot Frazick will be hosting a series of principal coffee hours prior to PTO meetings. The first will be Tuesday, October 25th at 6 p.m. This will be a virtual coffee hour due to the early release date, but future hours will be in person. CMS is using the Character Strong curriculum to help build our students' social and emotional skills. They do a lesson each cycle, which is every 6 days. Character Strong provides research-based and social-emotional learning curricula and professional learning services that positively impact lives. It involves developing thoughtful, healthy, and kind human beings. Parents, feel free to ask your student about the lesson. This past week was Lesson 4, Worries and Wonders for Grade 6, and Community Agreements in Grades 7 and 8. Diane Ferreira, Balch School Principal, attended the Norwood Arts and Cultural Festival and found a few of her Balch friends. She also saw Balch teacher Marlene Antes dancing with the Norwood Portuguese dancers. The students at the Callahan School have the opportunity for flexible seating options, and these students are hard at work in small groups. Science looks fun for these 5th grade students. They are learning all about potential and kinetic energy. In September, Callahan and Willett were awarded a From Research to Practice evidence-based early literacy target grant from DESE. DESE is the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education and oversees the education of children grades pre-K through 12 in Massachusetts. Through this grant, both Callahan and Willett have been funded for a literacy consultant for 320 hours of school-based work. The consultant will support the school-based literacy teacher leaders and 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade teachers. The goal of the grant is to help increase teacher knowledge to implement evidence-based, inclusive, culturally responsive practices in early literacy through professional learning. At the Cleveland School's recent open house, the students were excited to come in and find their self-portraits hanging in the lobby for all to see. Special thanks to art teacher Christina Tea. There were also biographical paper towers and challenging scavenger hunts. Let's take a look at the night. Prescott art classes have been off to an amazing start. Grade levels are working on a variety of skills and strategies, including working with watercolors, lines, and shapes. Here, the 5th graders worked on creating geometric patterns with a pencil, refining their work with a Sharpie, and eventually filled in the designs to create a beautiful piece of artwork using cool or warm colors. The Prescott students are always excited about their art class and the opportunity to create, build, and authentically express themselves. Well, that's it for school news. The students are always learning, and thanks to all the educators who share their school news with us. Now let's send it over to Ron Marshallsea with the latest in sports news.
I'm Ron Marshallsea, and this is your Sports Update. The golf team ends their season with wins against Holliston, Ashland, and Dedham. In their last home match against Dedham, the team scored a .228, their lowest of the season. Sean Dittmeyer and Dom Canidi both shot a 36, and Kevin Sopel, Paul Sheehan, Teddy Caparati, and Zach Badger all shot a 39. The Mustangs are hot right now, and those same 6 golfers will play in the state tournament on Tuesday at Maplegate Country Club in Bellingham. Good luck to the team. The field hockey team beat Bellingham and lost to Braintree this week. In the big 3-0 win over Bellingham, goals were scored by Caroline Forrest, Morgan Nauman, and Emily Spadorsha. And sophomore Ava O'Neill had a big day in the net, getting the shutout for the Mustangs. Football had a close loss last Friday, 19-14 against Hopkinton. The team hopes to get the win in their next game, which is away against a 4-1 Holliston team. The volleyball team is looking to bounce back after 2 tough losses to Norton and Hopkinton, where they travel to Ashland for their next game. But before the Norton game, both teams recognized the refs once again for Ref Appreciation Week. Both boys and girls cross-country teams lost to Holliston this week, but look to get the winning going again in their next meets. Boys soccer lost against Bellingham, Millis, and Norton, but look to capture that first win against a tough Hopkinton team at home. Girls soccer tied Millis 0-0 last Friday, but lost to Norton and Hopkinton. They get a rematch against Hopkinton when they travel to them for their next game. Jacob Logan, a 2018 Norwood High grad and currently a graduate student at Southern New Hampshire University, was named the Northeast 10 Conference Cross Country Athlete of the Week. Logan finished 4th overall at the New England Intercollegiate Cross Country Championship 8K in Boston. His time for the 8K was 24 minutes and 47.2 seconds and the second fastest time in program history. Logan has led the Penmen at each of their first 3 meets this season. And finally, Norwood High announced this week that Chris Fraioli has been named the new boys basketball coach. Chris is a Norwood resident who most recently served as the Dedham boys basketball coach before joining the Mustangs. And that's all I have for this sports update. I'm Ron Marshallsea. And Kristen, back to you.
In government news, at the Board of Selectmen meeting on Tuesday night, the board went through the capital improvement plan for FY23. There are several items on the plan, including 2 new ambulances, a new sewer-vac truck, parking lot resurfacing at several town and school buildings, and a new Council on Aging van.
We fund these partially through donations, partially through the operating budget, partially through the Senior Center grant program, part-time non-benefited staff, and we're even looking to add an option for medical care assistance, so that way somebody who might need a transport into a Boston hospital who needs somebody to go with them and come back, that we'd be able to facilitate that with the expanded options. Granite step repairs, brickwork, and lintels around the windows at the Balch School. This is one of those projects that unfortunately comes up as damage and different conditions are noticed. But there are some issues with the building facade, and there are some issues above the windows with some deterioration. The facilities department has put in this request also to repair the stairs where there's some sinking and foundation work that needs to go. So just some good repairs to an aging but graceful building. It has not been repaved since it was created. There's a lot of cracks, there's a lot of spaying, there's a lot of repairs. Some parts of the lots actually have more repair than they have original concrete to the system. So we've had all of these lots around, as we did with the rest of our lots, programmed out over roughly a 10-year period. We did most of the municipal lots about 2 years ago. We have each of the elementary schools scheduled out over the next probably 4 or 5 years, as well as some of the other facilities that we're doing. It's the Oldham and the Willett that we would be doing. We would be completely removing the pavement, grading everything, installing any needed new drainage that's required, and then we would be looking at also making sure we're installing any of the infrastructure needed to add EV chargers to the parking lot, as we did with the downtown municipal lots when we did them. We'll make sure we took care of that work when we opened up the lot, so that way we can button it up and it's good to go for the next generation. On the capital outlay this year is to purchase 2 ambulances. Normally we purchase 1 ambulance at a time. The reason we're looking at 2 ambulances, we've been telling the Finance Commission, the Board of Selectmen, and town meeting for the last several years that since the closure of the hospital, the ambulances are running 5 or 6 or 7 times their normal run time. It is wearing on them. We're spending a fortune on additional repairs, on additional even simple items like oil changes, and on repairs for tires and brakes and everything has all multiplied. We're also beating up the ambulances pretty big. If you think for years we drove maybe a mile to pick up a patient and then a mile to the hospital and then a half a mile back, we're now picking up patients and heading to Needham all the time, to Good Sam in Brockton, and into Boston. We're also running into some supply chain issues which are concerning us with certain vehicles that we're probably, best case scenario, 6 months out from the first ambulance. We'll probably, assuming that this board goes forward and the Finance Commission goes forward and town meeting recommends it, place one order and then the following order, but we need to keep our ambulance fleet up and running, again, given the challenges that they're facing.
Town Manager Tony Mazzucco was happy to announce the arrival of the new building inspector. Gary Pelletier started this week at Town Hall as Norwood's new building inspector following the passing of former inspector Matt Walsh.
I'm happy to announce we have hired a new building commissioner. He started just today with us, Gary Pelletier, previously building commissioner in Medfield. So we welcome him aboard today. He and our new HR director, who started 2 weeks ago, Lisa Uglioro, will be bringing them both to the board for a quick meet and greet, I think, at your next regular scheduled meeting. But we're happy that Gary's on board, and Deb and Mark Schubert have been already getting him on board. And he did call around 5:30, and we were worried it was a, hey, I did one day, but I'm done. But it was just to report on how the day went, and he was off on his way. So we're happy to have him on board.
The Board of Selectmen will be meeting again next week on October 18th to approve the town meeting warrant, and will meet again on October 25th. In case you missed the live meeting, you can always catch the rebroadcast at 4 p.m. on Wednesdays and 10 a.m. on Saturdays. At school committee this week, the committee discussed the scheduled traveling school committee meetings and what was the best course of action as far as where in the high school they will be meeting on the 26th.
So I just wanted to remind the committee and the public that our next school committee meeting, and I, kind of coming up to the end anyway, is actually going to be a traveling school committee meeting. So it will not be held here in the school committee room. It's actually going to be held at the Norwood High School. So we had discussed and decided that our traveling school committee meetings would not be hybrid meetings because we lacked the appropriate systems to be able to do that. I would like to ask, are we reconsidering that, considering we have appropriate systems?
We have not gone there yet because there still is going to need to be some setup, and I don't know what it would require to use it on this machine. I mean, so could
maybe
maybe I will look into it. I do have, I don't want to ask someone else to be out at a meeting to set things up. I'm not, so I will look into it.
So when you do them in the auditorium, do you sit up on the stage at a table, or like down
we
below the
usually
stage?
did them in the library. That's why I'm asking.
Oh.
We only did public forums in the auditorium.
Oh, okay.
Around the athletics. But it was always like the Coakley Library, the high school library. I think every school we were at, we were in the library. Except the old town, we were in the cafeteria.
Yeah, it was either the cafeteria or the library, depending on the school.
For complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government Channel or watch on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break for more town news.
Norwood News is your home for all things Norwood. Hosted by Kristen McDonald, this weekly news show brings Norwood to you no matter where you are. From town events to sports games and government meetings, Norwood News is there to get the scoop and bring it to you every single week. Norwood News, your home for all things Norwood.
A reminder to Norwood residents from the town clerk's office that early voting for the November 8th election will be taking place from October 22nd until November 4th. For further information, please visit the town website at norwoodma.gov or call the clerk's office at 781-762-1240. Doug Zegheib, the CEO and Executive Director of the Skating Club of Boston, has said many times that the world is coming to Norwood. Next week, Skate America is coming to the Norwood facility, and let's go to University Ave to learn more.
So Skate America is one of the largest international figure skating competitions. It's part of the Grand Prix series, which is hosted by the International Skating Union, and Skate America is the first stop. The next Grand Prix cities will follow. There's 6 or 7. They all lead up to the Grand Prix final at the end of the year. And basically what skaters are doing is at each of these events, they're earning competition points to see how they qualify. This all leads up to the World Championships early next year. And basically this is the start of the new quadrennial leading to the Olympics in Cortina, Italy in 2026. And so we have a lot of new skaters, a lot of skaters whose names you might have heard before, and they're all now establishing their names, starting with this first event for where they will be in 4 years internationally. For us, the Skating Club of Boston, we're thrilled to have this event here in Norwood. We never thought this big of an event would come to our facility, but we did promise the town residents that we would bring the world to Norwood. And there'll be over 17 countries represented here, about 34 skaters. The competition will be broadcast live and tape delay on NBC. I think it'll be the last weekend in October. You want to check your listings. So if you didn't get tickets, they sold out in the first couple of weeks. But if you didn't get tickets, you can see Skating Club of Boston, Skate America, live and tape delay on NBC.
This is really exciting for the town and will give a lot of residents bragging rights when they see their hometown on national TV. Congratulations to Doug and everyone at the Skating Club of Boston. NCM will be there, and we will be producing a highlight segment with exclusive behind-the-scenes footage that you'll see right here on Norwood News. Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.